Yep, they got him. Yep. And he's also got, so Dane, we have the Sanibel police, right? So you're working on that, and we're gonna, yeah. So we're gonna get those distributed. He's like, you know, how do you want to do it? I was like, just get it to him. I was like, just get it to him as quickly as possible. So you guys are linked up, and you'll be able to do that. And I think that that'll end up being really, really good. You know, these things are, in reality, when we did the bonuses last year, we did it partially because they were defunding law enforcement in other parts of the country. And I'm like, wait a minute, you know, these are the guys that anytime anything goes wrong, you need first responders, not just police, but fire and EMT, especially during COVID. And so we're like, this is insane. So we're going to show that we support. And so we did those payments and we sent it out to checks. And most of the guys would come up to me and say, you know, honestly, the money's nice, but it's really just showing that the community, the state supports what we're doing. And that was really why they appreciate it. And I think that's still true. But I do think right now, particularly in this region, given all that's happened, this is going to be a great little lifeline for people because they've had to kind of put their own interests aside to do the job for the public. And that may mean they haven't been able to take care of everything they need to with their property or their affairs. And so this is a little bit, I think, is going to come at the right time.
Governor, you touched a little bit on people who have water damage, flood damage, and maybe their policies don't cover that, or they didn't even realize that was something that they would need to get covered for. Do you have an idea of the scope of that? You know,
Not yet. I mean, I think that that's going to be the big question. And, you know, there's sometimes someone can buy a home, maybe they're in a floodplain, they opt against it. I think in this case, you had areas that were flooding that traditionally don't flood. They would have they qualified for their mortgage without needing to get flood insurance. And I don't think it was trying to be irresponsible. If someone tells you it's not something that you're likely to see, then okay, like you insure against risks that are possible to happen. So we don't know yet. I do know, though, the fact that we got approved for individual assistance from FEMA. People that suffer those flood losses without flood insurance, they do get an award from FEMA, and they're entitled to that. It is not likely going to be enough to do what insurance would do, but the fact that we got approved from that is a big deal. On the first responder, with the awards we did for the Florida Disaster Fund, one of the reasons we wanted to do that is just for those situations. You know, you may have a police officer or firefighter who homeowner policy may not cover rising water and flood, and they were told they didn't need flood. And so maybe they have $50,000 in damage that's not insured. Well, they can now get potentially grants from these organizations that can help do that. So I think that that is, of course, going to be an issue just because the flooding, and it's not just in this part of the state. I mean, you go interior into the parts of the state, there were areas that flooded that had never flooded before. I mean, people had been living there for 40, 50 years and say, I'd never seen anything like it. So we'll get a sense of that, I think, as the weeks go on. But bottom line is, Florida Disaster Fund, that is one of the reasons why we're trying to raise money, because we understand there's going to be needs that may not fit into every wicket of FEMA, flood policy, homeowners policy, and that's just the nature of the beast. So, okay, we are going to see you guys very, very soon about this causeway. I don't know when yet, but I am going to make sure it's very, very soon, so stay tuned.